Hey, good morning. Man, it's Friday. I'm not confused today. It is Friday today, March 11th, 2022. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd's going down.
Hey.
Wake up, get your body moving on this Friday. Like we like to say, thank goodness it's Friday. We already getting some good mornings this morning. What's happening?
Hey.
It is. What's going on, buddy?
What's happening?
Just waking up, bro.
Man, another day in the life.
We already got a good morning from Pops. Good morning, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, and the entire First Sky fam, TGIF.
Indeed.
Josh Chase gives us a happy Friday, fam. Good morning to you, brother. How you doing?
Man.
Peace. And Rome's Review said he's on the road, man.
Drive safely, bro.
Yeah, drive safe, man. Appreciate you listening to us. Mayor Sanchez in the house.
Hey, man.
Oh, man. Good morning on this Friday, March 11th, 2022. Another fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. For First Sky Omaha Radio as well. So shout out to everybody on the radio channel checking us out. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to listen any other time, it's firstsky.omaha.com/the listen button. And definitely check them out. It would be a great thing if you did. Lots of good music on there. And shout out to the 630 crew that's over there checking us out. Let us know how the mix went this morning and all that good stuff. We got a good morning from Judy Prinzler. Good morning from Brooke Rodriguez. What's happening?
Yeah, what's happening? Coming over from YouTube as well. So yeah, please remember we are tubing, twitching, and tweeting. Let the people know we out here. So right. Tell a friend. They can catch us wherever they are, really, on social media. Also, if you're at home and you have Alexa at home, you can go ahead and tell Alexa you want to listen to us. Get on down with the get down.
That's right. Yeah. Do that Amazon thing. Got to get it on Google too. I'm finding out a bunch of people got the Google thing too. So
what's the Google thing? Google Home, is that?
Well, one of them things. If Amazon got Alexa, Google got something else too.
Yeah. We'll have to look into that. Trying to be everywhere you are and meet the people where they are in the highways and byways. So yeah, we appreciate y'all for coming through this morning. Thank God it's Friday. Let us know what's going on in your world. Let us know, of course, we will be having the haps coming up a little later on. Let us know what's going on this weekend. What you have planned, anything worth talking about, letting the people know about, spreading the word. Pop says, Google Home. Yeah, okay. So we gotta figure out how to get on that. Boogie Jones in the building.
Oh, man.
Letting the sunshine in.
What's going on, Boogie Jones?
The people loving the tracks, man.
Yeah, Boogie Jones is kind of famous over here. We be playing the old reggae tracks. Everybody's like, that's what's happening.
Yeah, man. So got some cuts indeed.
Shout out to Boogie Jones all the way from the West Coast out in L.A. Leia Keister's in the house giving us a good morning.
Hey.
Brother Rich is in the house. I didn't know if he was sleeping in this morning, Brother Rich. So,
oh yeah, brother Rich. Even when we try to tell him to take it easy, he's always there front and center, man. So definitely appreciate all the work that Brother Rich does in the background. Star Trek Rich, as we like to call him around here, definitely part of the squad.
Yeah, man, that's what's going on. Star Trek Rich says, I go to YouTube and give us a like and subscribe, if you will. Got to play the YouTube game this time now. So. Yeah, go over there, subscribe if you will. Boogie Jones says happy accordion. Yeah, Boogie's on the accordion now, man. He's got he's good. He got accordion tracks that he
really
he gets on the thing, man. He goes for it for a minute. So he's in love with accordions right now. So go to Boogie Jones' YouTube page and check out his accordion music.
Getting into the polka vibes.
Stacey Jean gives us a good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends. And Pop says much love, Star Trek Rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Good morning to y'all. Thanks for getting up so early. Good morning to Miss Erica Felt. Miss Erica Felt, you've been using your government name for a minute now. You've been staying out of trouble, I see.
Well, you see, she's on YouTube as well. I think that might make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. She done figured it out. But yes, come on in, man. Tell a friend and tell a friend. We're here live for the next 2 hours. I got a couple things to get into, but before that, man, how you doing, Paul? How's Vegas treating you?
It's been good, man. Vegas is always a family trip for me. So everybody's like, you having fun out there wilding out? Nah, that's not.
Nah.
Not really, though. That's not what we do here. So yeah, family, and then our family's coming in town later on tonight. We got a wedding this weekend, so
okay.
That's the reason for the trip. So we're it's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be real cool. We're gonna be chilling with the fam. Some of the fam we haven't seen for quite a while, and so it's always family time when I come to Vegas.
It's a beautiful thing. That's always exciting. Seeing fam, man. I'm a big family kind of guy, man. It's all about the family. So that's beautiful. Spending some time with Pops. I saw you posted, y'all watching some b-ball together, man. Some good father-son bonding.
Yeah, dude, we watched the documentary of Magic, the rivalry between Magic and Bird from back in the 80s, and that's when we used to watch ball together back in the day. So that was dope to reminisce on that. And there's a new show out. I think it's called Showtime or something like that.
About Magic. Yeah, it's on HBO.
Bro, it's trash.
I figure
it's trash.
It looks trash.
It's trash so far. Neither one of us was like, yeah, this ain't. We was excited too because that was our era, but
it's a good premise. It's a good idea, but the execution, I think, was lacking.
They're ruining it for sure.
They're ruining it.
What Pop said, hopefully it'll get better when they start showing like the games and stuff like that. We'll see. We're gonna keep watching, but yeah, that first episode was straight trash, man.
TBD.
It's like a bootleg version of Boogie Nights or something. It was like,
dang,
it was whack. It was whack.
Yeah, but that's a beautiful time. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I actually got some fam out there in Vegas myself. Looks like I actually might be taking a trip kind of like late April or something.
We'll see. That's what's up.
We'll see.
Have to get out here and ask Pops to make his famous gumbo. He made gumbo last night, boy. We got down on that seafood gumbo, Pop's specialty. Yeah, good times.
Yeah. It sounds like some good times. Can't go wrong with the gumbo. Oh man, well, glad you're enjoying yourself. Hopefully everyone else is enjoying their week as well. And again, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds, feel free to drop it in the chat. Let us know. I'm doing all right on this Friday. Nothing too much. Same old. Really.
How's the fam doing?
Everybody's all right. Just kind of getting into the swing of things and the new spot. Little Mama's getting big. Have to get her make an appearance here in the next couple shows. Because she's chilling right now. But she's getting big, man. So just kind of preparing for that and updating things. Got her a new bed recently.
She already graduated to a new bed already.
She's about to start crawling, man. She's like already loosely saying dada and things. Like it's just kind of amazing how she was just born at the start of this season, or start of last season, really, and now here we are, another season, and she's just man.
She be walking downstairs saying, "Where the cookies and stuff?"
Man. Oh man, yeah. I'm not looking forward to that.
We got a good morning from Brianna Full. What's happening? Good morning to you. Bring a little sunshine. Vicky Young says good morning with some sunshine as well. So thank you all for getting up, man. I tell you, those of you that have to get up with us so you can be a part of the show is really special. You can always go watch older episodes. Go back to Facebook and watch what you missed. But the fact that you get up early with us to engage in the chat and to be a chat chimer is really the issue, the deal there. So we appreciate all of you doing that.
Oh yeah, it's an experience, y'all, and we're all here to experience it together. It's an ongoing conversation, so we're definitely glad that you are all, willing to be a part of it and actually seeming eager to be a part of it. So we appreciate y'all. Again, the show would not be the same without you. We call you our co-host for a reason, and we love and appreciate all of you for your enthusiastic engagement. So we thank you and look forward to today's show. We do have a special guest coming in, somebody that we've been talking about bringing on for quite some time, friend of the show, prison activist, long time activist, actually, Paul Feilman.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what's
man.
up.
Yeah,
Finally
man.
getting him on.
Finally getting him on. He's been pretty active in keeping us on top of what's going on with the prisons in the state. And coming on the heel of the Flatwater Free Press and Omaha World Herald article talking about the disparities in Nebraska's prison system when it comes to race. And now Brother Paul Feilman coming on to give us some more information and some more insight. Definitely looking forward to that conversation.
For sure. What else we got going on for today?
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, kind of accompanying that conversation, there has been some updates in the state's prisons in regards to overcrowding and understaffing. And actually, Governor Ricketts did address that Omaha World Herald article in regards to disparities in the prison system. And I would definitely love to get into his comments. Yeah. Yeah.
He said he had some cryptic comments, pretty cryptic.
I mean, you heard what he said. I think there's a little more beyond the surface of that one. So we'll definitely dive into what it is that he had to say. Now, also speaking of Governor Ricketts, there is an update with the rental aid bill. Again, $120 million hanging in the balance. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle trying to get Governor Ricketts to reach up and claim it and grab that money for the people, and he won't. But it looks like there's still some hope at the end of the road. So we'll talk about that latest update in that situation coming up. And then also there's a fight going on, and it looks like it's going in the right direction in regards to a bill that would allow no concealed carrying. Again, we talked about how this state being a gun state and just gun culture, how that impacts us all, and where that might lead us as a community, as a society. And this bill plays a huge role in that. Talking about legislative bill 773. So we'll definitely get into that. Also, I don't know if you heard about this Ryan Coogler news, but we got to talk about this, man. Another brother getting harassed, just living his daily life. Apparently, you can make $100 million making a movie, but you can't take it out of the bank.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and more throughout the show. Of course, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds, and that we're not discussing and you feel like we're missing the ball on that one, go ahead and drop it in the chat. We'll look into it. If we have some information about it, we'll talk about it. Again, this is First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, my man Star Trek Rich in the background doing what he does. All of you. It's a Fresh Friday edition. Let's go.
Hey. Good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich in the back is making threats. He said, if we don't see Pops today, I'm virtually moving some furniture around.
All right. It's going to be a riot up in here.
That's right. I am broadcasting live from Pop's house. For those of you that know, I'm out here in Vegas at Pops. He's graciously let us use the spot to do the show. And I think he will be making an appearance today, coming through and saying what's up. So hopefully that'll be the case. Once again, want to give a shout out to everybody who's listening on the radio channel. Thank you very much. FirstSkyOmaha.com. Hit the listen button. And you can also see some past shows by going to FirstSkyOmaha.com and hitting the watch button as well. So we got some things that we're definitely moving on so we can try to get the show out as many times as we can. And those of you that are watching on Facebook, go ahead and share that on your page, excuse me, if you will. And so we can get as many people watching as possible. And let everybody know we're on YouTube now too. First Sky Omaha, the YouTube channel. So check that out. Miss Erica Fell says, I like the chime in graphic. Yeah, that was courtesy of Weberized. The Weberized crew put that chime in graphic at the end there for us. So we appreciate that. You guys are the chat chimers. That's what we do.
It's all about you. So definitely chime into the chat. We want to hear what you have to say. Want to hear what's on your hearts and your minds. So let your mind be free and let your voice be heard. That's what it's all about. Because when you speak up, the people are listening. There are entities out there that are listening and curious as to what you have to say. So again, let that be known.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of that, let's go ahead and dive into this first topic of the day. And we'll kick off. There is not necessarily a story, but somebody that posted something in the Friends of page. And I'm actually kind of waiting on a couple friends to pop into the chat. Hopefully they will. Precious McKesson and Kimmer Snipes. I would definitely love to have a conversation with them because it does seem like Omaha has lost some voting precincts and a few polling locations have changed. And of course, North Omaha has been impacted the most. So this is coming from a tweet from Scott Blake, and a few of the friends of have posted it in the friends of group. So I definitely want to talk about that because the vote is coming up. But again, I'm gonna put that on the back burner and kind of put a pin into that to see if we can get Precious or Kimra in the chat here pretty soon, or if they are already in the chat, just drop a quick chime and check in with us.
Okay.
But before we get into that, we'll kind of set the stage as to why that story is important. There's a lot of things happening in the legislature. There's a lot of things, a lot of arguments, a lot of debates, a lot of bills coming across the legislature every day, which is why we need the elected officials in there to go to war, to go at bat for us, for things that make sense. And that's why this latest news is definitely a victory. Opponents filibuster bill to allow no permit concealed carry in Nebraska. This being reported by Omaha World Herald, talking about legislative bill 773. And again, as the headline reads, the legislative bill 773 would allow citizens, people of Nebraskans, to carry a concealed weapon without a permit, which again is not just a card. But there's a whole system, a whole process that goes along with that permit that kind of, I guess, gives a check and balance to who can have a gun or who does have a gun. The current law allows people to carry visible weapons inside the Capitol, although they cannot be taken inside the legislative chamber. Concealed weapons, however, are barred from the building. And again, the difference is a weapon that's holstered with a shirt over that you can't see, that's a concealed weapon, or a weapon that's again carried openly. That is the difference. But lawmakers adjourned without reaching a vote on LB 773 as opponents mounted a filibuster. A motion to cut off the filibuster is expected this morning after about 2 hours of debate. The motion needs about 33 votes to succeed. Under LB 773, Nebraska adults who are not otherwise banned from having guns would no longer have to get a permit to carry a concealed weapon. Proposals like this are sometimes called constitutional carry, of course, referring to the Second Amendment, in reference to some gun rights advocates' belief that the U.S. Constitution gives people the right to carry concealed guns without a permit. In Nebraska, getting a concealed carry permit requires passing a criminal background, paying a $100 fee, and taking an 8 to 16 hour gun safety class. So again, if this bill is passed, all of that goes out the window.
You can just go down to what you call it, Falls, and get your weapon, walk on out with it under your coat.
Yep. Senator Adam Moorfield of Lincoln argued for those requirements to remain in place, calling them reasonable restrictions on the constitutional right to bear arms, saying rights are not unlimited, even constitutional rights. He also offered an amendment to leave the requirements in place, but eliminate the permit fee. That's reasonable. He said the proposal addresses concerns that the cost of current requirements prevents some people from getting concealed carry permits. Moorfield said the amendment was an attempt to reach a compromise, but there appeared to be no takers on the other side. And quite honestly, I think that's a fair compromise. If you are going to make some changes to it, maybe eliminate the financial economic barrier that some might be reaching.
Interesting. This is something that we've been following for a while too. This is, they've been trying to make this state a gun state the same way that Texas is in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is pretty interesting stuff. Brother Kasim is in the chat right now. He says
Peace, brother. Peace.
He said you can open carry in Nebraska with a CCW. That's what's a concealed carry weapon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can open carry in Nebraska right now with a CCW. So
yep,
you can come in with an AK strapped on your chest, but you can't have it tucked in your waist up under your coat and all that when you're walking into federal buildings and stuff like that. So. So it's already kind of, I've seen that, like we were talking about Freedom Summer. There was vigilantes and guys that were coming out with AK-47s and stuff strapped to their chest, walking around,
mm-hmm.
and we've seen that many times. So,
yeah.
you
But
know,
we all know the laws don't change until we start doing it. Until we start coming out the woodwork, as you said, what's seen with the Black Panthers. And again, the laws didn't change until they were in the Capitol making their demonstrations, which is going right along with Senator Terrell McKinney's comments on this bill, actually disagreeing with Senator Brewer, who says that the compromise with the Omaha Police Officers Association has already been worked out. Senator Terrell McKinney says that this bill actually set, in that compromise will actually set different requirements for Omaha residents compared to the rest of the state, and would allow Omaha police to continue targeting Black residents. And that's something that was actually a takeaway from the Omaha World Herald article that talked about the disparities. One of the causes of the disparities, one of the reasons why a lot of the brothers that's locked up right now are locked up, is behind gun charges. So again, how does this impact our communities?
Brianna Fool says OPD was actually opposed to this bill. I wonder why.
I mean, I can imagine that makes their job a lot harder if people don't have to go through the hoops, don't have to get a background check, pay a fee, have their name on some list.
They can't see that they have a gun on them.
Don't know that they have a gun on them. And then everybody gets treated like they have a gun on them, which is not fair or not fun for anybody.
Yeah, very true. Brother Muhammad in the chat earlier said, helped personally with security late afternoon. Sergeant Lillian Clayman's relative, MVP Street renaming. I didn't know that you did security work, brother Muhammad. Is it armed work? Is it more crowd control kind of stuff? Yeah, let us know in the chat if you will. Stephen Abraham's also in the chat, says, good morning. My post was in response to the losing of precincts. It goes back to the redistricting that just happened. Yeah, that's interesting too. There's something that's floating around there we'll have to get to as well about the polling places as well. Those are also some things that have changed up because of the redistricting and all that.
Yeah,
especially in North Omaha.
What I was talking about, that graphic, is like a data set that was released. I definitely want to talk about a little later on.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. But this is very interesting. Like I said, something that is an evergreen story for us. We keep up with what's going on with the gun laws here. This is all pretty interesting. Sometimes it seems a little bit like OPD wants something that the policing union don't want. It seems like they're in opposition to things sometimes when it comes to this stuff.
I think that's a fair assessment. There are definitely some instances where the police department under the lead of Chief Tosh Moderer is going one direction, and the union under the lead of President Tony Connors is going another direction. Right. So I do think that's a fair assessment, and we'll have to look more into that as far as who supports what.
Yeah, for sure. Brother Muhammad says he does personal security. He says, I plead the fifth on your optional question. I guess they'll have to find.
Nah, gotta learn the hard way, huh?
F around and find out. That's
right.
Yeah. Don't act a fool. Don't act a fool. So that's what's up. I kind of am a proponent of that. I did security and stuff like that in California for many, many years, and I definitely see the advantage of being able to have some security in your community as opposed to having to call the police on things all the time. And the training that needs to come with all that too, with the security too, with especially personal security and those things. But yeah, if we can get a little closer to handling things or on our own in our neighborhoods, I think that goes a long way for a lot of this as well. So Yeah, it's really interesting to keep track of what the gun laws are because they only change when we step up and do anything with them. That's right. It goes back to Black Panthers and everything else, like we were talking about. Miss Erica Felt in the chat says the other day, an off-duty officer held a man at gunpoint at Taco Bell. Somehow, this person he had a gun. He had the gun on. Ended up in the phone on the phone with 911 though. So the guy who had the gun pulled on him by the police officer called 911.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how that one ended.
Yeah. Brother Muhammad says, let's talk about it. We can train, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you do the self-defense and things like that. Definitely might have to look into it because those are that is an element of this conversation, as Paul mentioned, with the Black Panthers and things like how do we protect our neighborhoods and how do we go into gun control, in our neighborhoods. You have like the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition, and you have like Black Gun Coalitions and that support those who don't get supported by the NRA, if you will. So there is that side of the conversation, the legal side of it, which I think can help if we start to get more into that and make that less taboo. That will kind of eliminate some of these arrests that we're seeing if again those in the community are carrying legally and are understanding gun laws and the things like that, because let's just be honest, a lot of our youth end up in situations where they get into a fight, they get into some altercation, somebody threatens them. If somebody tell you I'm gonna kill you, what you gonna do? A lot of them go get a gun.
Yeah.
And then those types of that's just how it happens, So again, if you understand, if you're carrying a gun legally and then somebody does try to attack you, at least you have self-defense and you have a legal argument that you're not, now in prison just for trying to defend yourself because you're living in a dangerous environment.
Very true. I remember during Freedom Summer, a lot of white friends that came out to the rally that they had over at a Malcolm X Memorial Foundation at one point were very, very surprised to see brothers with guns strapped to them securing the area. They made so many comments to me about that. They had no idea. They felt so scared because they had never seen that. And they didn't even think it was legal. They were like, they thought they were going somewhere and engaged somewhere it was illegal for that to happen. That shows you some of the mentality of some of the people in Omaha and in Nebraska in general, that this is such an issue that they see a Black man walking around with a gun. They think that it's illegal when they can go right back home and their uncles is taking it right off the wall and right off the back window of their pickup and go and walking around with theirs. So it just kind of goes to show you about some of the mentality there. It shocked a whole lot of people when they came to that rally and saw that.
Oh yeah, but it's a different thing, like you said, when we're protecting our own community. But there is that side to it. Miss Erica Felt says the man who was legally carrying and the police murdered him in the passenger seat of the car with his daughter in the back seat a couple of years ago. I worry about Black men with concealed carry permits.
Yeah, man. Philando Castile out in Minneapolis.
Yep.
He told him he had a weapon on him. He had his license on him too. Tried to show the officer all that stuff. By the officer's request, the officer still shot in the car with that little girl in the back seat too. Like ridiculous. Like you said, the ones that the NRA don't support.
Yep.
Mama got in the house. She says, late with it. Good morning. Got caught up in the New Edition story here and present checking into First Sky vibes. Good morning, first fan. What's going on with the New Edition story?
Hey,
what's happening?
Top of the morning, Mama God.
Tonight, Patterson says, seems like black militias are still unconstitutional militia acts, as we are in a state that has some of the most white militia groups in the area around us, surrounding us. It does still seem like a Black militia group is against the law. Mr. Erkenfeld said he did everything right. Yeah, he really did. Philando Castile was a turning point for me too, and just like being real, waking all the way up, like Brother can't even act all the way right with this stuff and not get shot and killed on camera. His girlfriend filmed the whole situation.
A part of that is a part of the reason why I haven't purchased a gun and I don't own a firearm. I wanted to at least be, aware, and I wanted to know that if it ever came to a situation where I had to use one, I'm not gonna freeze up. Like I know how to use it, and I know what I'm doing, and I know how to protect myself and my family, and I'm aware of the laws, and I feel like that's good enough. I do feel like purchasing a firearm does put me in those types of situations. Like if I am ever pulled over, I got to deal with the officer being antsy, knowing that I have a firearm and my skin's a little darker than his. And also I just feel like, owning a gun is one step closer to using it, which is not something that I necessarily want to do. It's just to be prepared if I had to.
There you go. Stephen Abraham says legal versus illegal is very important. In our culture, throwaway guns are very acceptable. We also don't promote legal processes in many of our interactions. This is a deep thought response.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Very interesting. Have to check that out. Looks like we got some more Twitch trolls. Twitch is looking like they're kind of known for this. The only trouble we ever have is on Twitch. We have to rethink that a little bit. It is 7:31 though. If you're keeping track of time, if you believe in the concept, let's take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich in the background as well. Broadcasting live from Pop's house out in Vegas and live from Buddy's studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. Here's a little Boogie Jones for your morning.
Hey. All right, Paul, calm down over there.
Yeah, we all over the place over here.
Hitting it with the fat finger.
Gotta bear with us. This is not Weaponized Studios. Welcome back again. This is First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul
in
Beeee,
the morning.
Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. And man, we were broadcasting live remotely from some spots today. We very much enjoy everybody that has that bears with us through all of the tech difficulties. Just here for the conversation because that's what this is all about. So we really appreciate everybody joining in this morning. Zanaya Patterson says laws written by the lawless. That's what I be thinking about it, man, and how people hide behind these man-made laws that we just are all supposed to be dealing with, and they're usually all unbalanced, to say the least, to put it nicely. Hot mess.
Yeah, man. So we gotta continue doing what we're doing, man, letting the people know because had the lawless had it their way, all this would be done in the dark, in the shadows.
Very true. Yeah.
Without the people knowing. So Definitely tell a friend, man. We're here having a conversation, here to talk about all the things that's going on in your worlds, your communities, your backyards, and if there's something that somebody needs to chime up about, and you feel like someone needs to speak up about it, that's what we're here for. That's what it's about. So definitely chime into the chat. Let your minds be free. Let your voice be heard.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's keep it moving, man. Move along into this next story. This is actually, I believe, something that you, Paul, have been talking about, diving into a little development story. This Platte River Lake.
Yeah, remember we've been talking about this $600 million lake they've been talking about, using some of those funds for those ARPA funds for. I believe this is the beginnings of that. So, to put it in context, brother Senator Terrell McKinney and brother Senator Justin Wayne, put some respect on their names, have been trying to ask for $450 million out of that ARPA fund to go to North Omaha, and everybody is trying to act like that's such a huge amount. Well, they've asked for $600 million to build a lake out west. So, and it looks like they're going to get their way here. So, they made a little announcement that it was getting going. You want to hit that up?
Yeah, man. This is coming out of Omaha World Herald. Plans to build a $500 million canal and reservoir system in western Nebraska, and also a 4,000 acre lake between Omaha and Lincoln, sailed along in the Nebraska legislature Wednesday. State lawmakers gave the first of 3 rounds of approval to bills addressing both major projects, despite questions raised by some senators. LB 1023, it is being called, which was introduced by Speaker of the Legislature Mike Hilgers, quite interestingly, by request of Governor Ricketts. That bill advanced on a 36-3 vote. And the measure would take the first step toward creating a 7-mile long lake along the Platte River, again, between the state's 2 largest cities. In addition, the bill would enable construction of new marinas at Lake McConney, North Platte River, the Lewis and Clark State Recreation Center, and also Niobrara State Park.
Okay.
Lawmakers, of course, debated the lake's bill first, and Hilgers, who again introduced the bill, said the measure represents an opportunity to improve the quality of life in Nebraska and promote economic development by enhancing recreational opportunities and flood control. He said all of those steps would help attract young people to the state.
Okay, that is very interesting. Yeah, brother Abe says trying to make an attraction, right? What do y'all think about this? Let's put it to the chat. What do you think about this river? I mean, this this Platte River Lake idea. It seems so far removed from what's going on in North Omaha.
My 2 thoughts are, one, it's kind of funny because all of those things that Hilgers mentioned, that this bill represents and that he's trying to do, can be said for the same thing that Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne is trying to do. Put some respect on their names. Again, $450 million in North Omaha would definitely go towards an opportunity to improve the quality of life in that area and promote economic development by enhancing opportunities in that area, and also attract young people. I mean, if there's more opportunities in North Omaha, then a lot of the talent that leaves North Omaha, i.e. myself, and a lot of other people, the like, would stay.
Brother Abraham says we don't need no stinking lake.
But also I will say that I mean, if in a world where North Omaha was getting what it needed, I don't see this being a problem. It's just always a problem when these types of things are becoming a priority and moving along, and we're getting resistance when we try to get what we need.
Right. Like Keister says, how about they focus on keeping the young people here and helping communities in need first? Common sense. They don't care nothing about it, and it's more than just they don't see it. They know they're literally just not caring about it.
Yep.
I don't even beat around the bush on that one anymore. They see that there's a need, and they would rather take care. They would rather do the things that they want to do to make their life pleasant first. It's just is what it is. Brother Muhammad says it's all for sport and play. Josh Teague says a lot of people in the rural and suburban areas will like this, but not gonna be much of an attraction to the rest of us, and certainly isn't going to attract more young people to the state. Waste of resources at this time.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah. Tonight Patterson says that region is not going to get any more people than they have been, and those people will still be visitors, not permanent residents. I mean, they always got to throw in that it'll attract people to the state thing. They always got to throw that in.
Oh, yeah.
I was just telling somebody last night about all the concert spaces that's happening down where the Gene Leahy Mall and stuff is being torn up. It's being torn up for a reason. It's being torn up because they want to try to act like they need another amphitheater and they need 5,000 seater place for people to come and watch concerts, all right in the same area, like all around the same area, right next to the Holland. Right across the street from the Holland, right around the corner from CenturyLink Center. They always talk about building all these things for attractions to bring people here, but it's just not a tourist town. So I don't understand their thing there. Stacey Jean says I don't see this being a huge tourism attraction.
Not at all.
It's not a tourist town. I lived in a tourist town. I lived in Hawaii for 9 years. This is nowhere near. This is not anything has anything to do with any kind of destination spot, tourist town type of joint.
This not is Omaha or Nebraska.
No. Miss Erica Phelps says, has anyone ever moved to a state because they had a lot of small man-made lakes? No, but white folks have done a lot of moving out to the outskirts where the man-made lakes are being made. I've seen that happen way more than anything else. So, there's a man-made lake, and the next thing you know, there's a whole lot of white flight going on, and they got a bunch of big houses built all around that lake, and they get a community going. But I've never seen it mass exodus of people from out of state that are going to come in to go surround a man-made lake out in the outskirts of Omaha. But Brother Muhammad says, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. MJ.
Man.
Denard Patterson says, an amphitheater to nowhere, no retail, no grocery, nothing. No infrastructure on the streets, no more parking. It's already bad down there. They want 5,000 person amphitheater, and it's not going to fix the parking situation around town. Just don't get it. I just don't get it. There's a if you build it, they will come type of mentality in Omaha that we talk about all the time. And the numbers are growing. There are people that are coming here or coming back here or staying here. We talked about the development and how there's development all around all the time, new apartment buildings springing up everywhere. Just talked to another friend of First Sky Omaha that was saying that there was a particular developer out here that's tearing down old buildings and just building up apartment complexes everywhere. So I don't know what they seeing something that we're not seeing. Like what's really going on? How many people do you know if you live in North and South Omaha, or even like Midtown or downtown? Like how many people do you know that are up and leaving? The area to go move out west somewhere, or to, like, I felt like that happened in the 90s. A lot of that kind of movement happened, but I don't really see too much of that movement happening now. I just see more stuff coming into North Omaha now. They're trying to shift the balance there or something. I'm not sure.
Yep. Like Brother Muhammad said, they're coming in to buy and build property in North Omaha. That's the shift.
That's the shift.
Definitely, as you see more investment downtown, as you mentioned, with the amphitheater and the new science building that they're building down there, with the elimination of things like the projects, we're going to see increased displacement and gentrification. I mean, the writing has been on the wall, and nothing is pointing in the opposite direction.
All right. Definitely some stuff to keep eyes on. Again, we need to check in with Brother Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, put some respect on their names about what's going on with that $50 million ask. what kind of resources are North Omaha going to get. It's good that we're keeping track of other things like this. Like, that's the reason why I kind of pulled this to the forefront, because I'm like, we gotta understand that they're going to spend $600 million on the lake out somewhere that's away from our areas. And we keep track of what we talk about, the money that's coming in and the help that we receive from different kinds of funds, the ARPA fund being one of them. And we talked about other things they wanted to do with the ARPA fund, which looks like it's going to happen this late. So what happened to the $450 million that they asked for? What happened to the stuff they wanted to do around Carter Lake, around the airport, that they wanted to try to bring some industry here and bring some more jobs here to North Omaha? These are some of the plans that the senators put together. So what kind of big money thing is going on here? While we have a lake that's being made out there. Brother Inomar Valentine says those with resources and connections can afford to buy property and let it sit until everything else lines up for them.
Man, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Kind of the last comment on this is the fact that a couple senators did point out that they're questioning the wisdom of setting aside $500 million for a project that would take years to complete, pointing out that there are other needs and to the likelihood that Nebraska will see very different fiscal pictures when federal pandemic funds run out. So while we're getting these federal ARPA funds and all of these funds as far as pandemic relief, is a lake the most strategic move to push the state forward now? How big of a impact is this really gonna make? So yeah,
very good question. It is 7:46 right now. If you're keeping track of time and you believe in the concept, it is First Sky Omaha Radio that you're listening to. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. We got a special guest coming up pretty soon here, so we're gonna take a quick break and see what's going on there. Stay tuned with us. Really appreciate everybody's chiming in the chat. Miss Erica Felt says, meanwhile, my driveway is cracked up and it's going to cost $10,000. Can people get some?
Hey, speaking of that, there's still this bill about there's still the story of Governor Ricketts blocking this $120 million that's supposed to go to the people. So yeah, while the lakes will get in. Also, real quick about that lake, the state will own the lake, but there will also be private developers that are partnered. So there's going to be luxury apartments and lakeside villas and all kind of stuff that the people really ain't gonna be able to afford. So yeah, we'll talk about where that bill is, because there are some updates with that and how the people may have some hope in getting those funds in their hands. So we'll talk about that and more on the other side of the break. First Sky Omaha.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Yo.
Hey.
Star Trek Rich said it's gonna be Star Trek Rich said it's gonna be some furniture moving if Pops don't come say hi. He wants to come keep the peace. So everybody shout out and say hi to Pops. What's going on?
Hey,
Pops? It's good. Loving my First Sky family. How's everybody doing?
Hey, top of the morning. I like those glasses, Pops. I like those.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
He likes those glasses.
Oh, yeah, that's just the way it has to be, brother. That's the only way I know how to roll.
Hey, got to do it in style.
Right on. Appreciate your pops. Thanks for coming on through and saying hi to the people.
Yeah.
Brother Muhammad said, "Who that?" Right on. There you go. Mr. Rickenfeld says, "Hey, good morning, sir." That's what's happening, man. Said, "Pops, look at here.
Look at here,
Brother Muhammad." Yep, I am broadcasting live from Pop's house in out here in Las Vegas. So thanks, Pops. I really appreciate you getting up and coming on through. Judy Prinzer says, "Looking good, Pops." Stacey Jean says, "Good morning, Pops." Everybody's giving Pops some love, so that's what's up.
Them Allen jeans are strong.
Yes, sir. For sure, we get mixed up all the time. That's what it is. So.
It's a beautiful thing. Brother.
Star Trek said, "Crisis averted." Crisis averted. He didn't have to start a Swedish ride on this week.
All right, hey, let's keep the peace now. Let's keep the peace.
Yeah, man. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you very much. Mr. Rickenfeld says Vegas is treating him right. Yeah, man. He been out here for a minute. We've been trying to get him to move back to Omaha. He's like, nah, that's my spot.
Man,
Vegas
I don't blame him.
The place for him. So that's what's up. We always have a good time when we come out here. I can see the appeal. Definitely love it. I know a lot of my friends and family from California are moving to Vegas. It's a little bit better, less more affordable. We'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
And the vibe is still kind of the vibe. Even the Raiders moved to Vegas. So
yeah,
I
man.
don't know, man. Vegas is kind of coming up a little bit.
Yeah, I actually, when I went out to Vegas for the first time, I was out there for my birthday by myself, and it was a good time. It was a good time. Of course, I do have family out there. Shout out to Uncle Shannon and things like that. Got the fam out there, but yeah. As Mr. Rickenfeld said, that's the West Coast retirement spot. Low key, I'm thinking about making Vegas kind of my second home. I have some friends and fam that's out in LA, which I believe is like only 3 hours away from Vegas.
Yeah, two if I'm driving.
Hey, you got the land foot, man. So yeah, definitely gonna have to check out Vegas, man. Might see first Sky Vegas at some point. Never know.
Hey, for sure. I like that, Mr. Rickenfeld. I like that. If you're in New York, Florida is your retirement spot, but if you're in California, Vegas is your retirement spot.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. That's cool, man. Mr. Rickenfeld says, I know too many folks out there don't even go out there for Vegas activities. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody thinks I'm coming out here on the strip hanging out. It's family time when I come out here. I got a lot of family, and we kind of just do family things around here. So, I ain't been to the strip in probably 15 years. Every time I come out here, we just are hanging out with fam.
Man, it's a lot of family fun out there. But I will say, while you're out there, you gotta check out that Area 15 for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're
kind of talk about that immersive experience place, like the.
That's funny you say that. Yeah, there's also a Meow Wolf out here too. I just found out. So there's a couple.
The Meow Wolf is at the Area 15. It's like a whole. The Area 15 is like a whole complex with immersive laser neon light kind of installations. Yeah, it's a whole complex.
Pops, Ms. Rickenfeld said that's where the hustlers go to slow down. Brother Valentine says, "Hey, my brother." Pop's getting all the love today. I'm gonna just go and turn the mic over to Pops. He can finish the show for us. Then
getting all the love.
I'm chopped liver out here now. I see how it is. See,
chopped liver.
Everybody goes and looks for me on Facebook, and they find him, and all of a sudden he got all my friends is his friends. And I never found you, but me and your dad been talking though.
Well, 3 years before 4, so
That's right. No, that's good. Shout out to Pops. He's definitely part of the First Sky fam, man. Couldn't do it without him. So appreciate him. Appreciate all the love. That's what's up. You're doing something good when you're doing something that you love doing and your family supports it.
Man,
that's part of it. That's what's happening.
That's a blessing. So that's definitely why we appreciate all the support that we get from y'all, man, for allowing us and supporting us and doing this. Because we love to do it. I'll be honest. There's mornings where I'm kind of dragging and waking up and got maybe some personal things that got me a little groggy, but this always picks my spirits up, man. So I appreciate y'all and everyone involved. The whole fam. It's a love affair, y'all. Thank you.
Hey, one of these days we're gonna get Pops on it for an interview because we guys to talk about some
things.
Yes. Especially I'm thinking First Sky Atlanta, when we really get into the music. He's the music historian, and there's a lot we could do there. So
we'll love to
stay tuned for more Pops.
Pick his brain and get some gems, because I know there's a literally books worth, literally books worth of wisdom and stories from Pop. So yeah.
There you go. That's what's up, man. Hey, it's 5 minutes to 8 o'clock. We do have a whole nother hour coming up here. We'll be in the second hour very soon. But if you got somewhere to be at 9 or something, just letting you know what time it is. You got about 5 minutes before you're late. And if you even believe in the concept of, if you're even getting up and going by a clock, then, just trying to be helpful there a little bit. But anyway, yeah, time has flown by already. First hour coming up on the close here. Lots more to talk about though in the second hour, and of course, since this is Friday, we're going to try to have a more extensive haps a little later on. So get your haps ready to let us know what's going on too. I saw in the Friends of First Sky Omaha page tons of haps that everybody was putting down. I might just open that page up and start reading from it.
Okay,
because there's a lot going down in the Friends of First Sky Omaha as far as haps is concerned. So.
Oh yeah, it all goes down at the Friends of First Sky group page. So although we are kind of making a deviation or a detour from Facebook and going to other places, again, that Friends of First Sky Facebook group is still where a lot of the conversation and just a lot of the extra goes down, man. So
yep,
check it out. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Come on through and join the group.
Also, something you can do is go check out Pop's books. Ceci Jean in the chat says Paul Sr. is definitely a music historian. I read his book in 2 days.
Oh man!
So yeah, go to Amazon, look for Paul B. Allen III, and get one of the many books that he has written on there, and especially the stuff on music. Man, is really insightful. So
man,
as a matter of fact, it's been voted like one of the best books on R&B and R&B music and stuff from back in the day. I can't remember what the title was, but he's gotten some accolades for it being some of the best music history books out.
Man,
the Saturday morning Song Chronicles. Yeah, definitely check that out. Go to Amazon and check that book out for real.
Are those still available at the library?
Which one's at the library, Pops? That one. Yeah, that one's at the library. That's the one he got into his the library, the Washington Branch Library, where he used to walk to as a kid.
Man, and so
full circle, man. Used to go to that one as a kid. Now the book that you wrote is in it. So that's what's up, man. Saturday Morning Song Chronicles. Check it out. There's Brother Rich already put a link in the chat there for you. So yeah, man, he was quick on the draw, man. Brother Rich, be getting down. Appreciate you very much. So just all the love, all the talent, everybody in the fam. Really, there's so much talent in this whole First Sky Omaha fam, man. That we can be just promoting all each other stuff all the time, every day. So
really can. That's what the community is about, and even all the chat chimers, man. All of y'all always learning something new about you that you do. So yeah, man. Keep being awesome. Keep chiming into the chat again. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Let's keep supporting each other, man. That's what it's all about, building the community that we want to be a part of.
Love it.
Yeah, man. But also, speaking of that, we'll be having our special guest, one of the friends of definitely coming on, Paul Feilman, a little later on in the second hour. So definitely look out for that. Okay. We will be talking about the prison situation. So if you have some comments, questions, some concerns, I definitely prepare those and have those ready to be shared and be known. But before that, there are a couple other stories that I wanted to get into, if that's all right with y'all.
Man, let's do it.
Because before the break, we were having a conversation, and I didn't want to speak to a comment I believe Miss Wanda Lewis made, I think. No, Miss Erica Felt talking about, can the people get some? Can the people get some? Indeed. And there is $120 million hanging in the balance that the people need. And if Governor Ricketts has it his way, the people will not get, at least for a moment. It does look like there is a possibility for some hope for the Nebraskans facing a possible eviction or in need of rental assistance under a tight deadline. Again, Nebraska lawmakers are optimistic that the legislature will have enough time to consider a rental assistance bill, including a potential override vote should Governor Ricketts decide to veto the $120 million in federal rental assistance. Again, that's still hanging in the balance. Legislative Bill 1073 is the name of the bill, in which Governor Ricketts has repeatedly said he is uninterested in seeking. The legislature must pass the bill before March 30th. So again, there is still some time, a sliver of hope, in order to meet the federal deadline. However, LB 1073 cleared the first 3 rounds of debate Wednesday on a 29-7 vote. Speaker of the legislature, Mike Hilgers, said he is committed to getting it through debates in time for the deadline and even in time for a vote on a potential veto override. It is unclear whether Ricketts would veto LB 1073 if it is passed, but a spokesperson for the governor's office did not respond to multiple requests for comment Wednesday. So they're still pretty tight-lipped on the situation. But again, lawmakers have repeatedly requested that Ricketts asked and sought the aid. Last week, members of the Appropriations Committee even signed a letter asking the governor for a formal reconsideration of his decision. Other senators argued the exact opposite, saying that funding would help taxpayers. Again, going against what Ricketts said is his reason for turning it down, as he believes it will hurt taxpayers, which again is not the case. That money is federal funds that is not coming from taxpayers, and it is not saving taxpayers any money if he does not accept it. It is going to go to someone if he does not accept it, either us or California.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense that we know that. We've been saying that from the jump. It's come out that those funds are not tax, funds that are being taken from our taxes, and it's not saving us any money for them to do that. So I don't understand why, if he doesn't know that, why we need to address that. But it is what it is. Mr. Ackerfeld says, I think he has that kink where he likes being begged.
Oh gosh. All right.
Well, he will not get that kink satisfied anywhere around here. I can tell you that much. But it's pretty silly to me. From the moment we started talking about this story, it was already dug up that the funds would go to California. This wouldn't be saving. It's not saving taxpayers anything to be able to use those funds. So it's really kind of a mean, just kind of a thing where you're denying that anybody needs any help or should get any help. So I'm glad that they're trying to work around this, and hopefully it'll go to a vote and can just bypass him. Like, whatever. While he would even expend the energy to veto it is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about that. We always talk about like paying attention to what he chimes up on. He's actually going to expend the energy to veto this. That's how bad he don't want people to get rental assistance. Mr. Rickenfeld says the people keep begging him because we have to in order to get minimum assistance.
Yeah, man.
David Carney says we'd make money on the interest if they aren't used too. Doesn't make sense.
And the crazy thing is that Governor Ricketts is using the fact that there's still millions of dollars that the state has still not used as justification for why he feels that the state doesn't need any more money, or why the people don't need it. It's like, we still got 30 million that we haven't used that's just sitting there. So the people don't need help. And the thing that he's missing is the people need that 30 million that's just sitting there and then some.
Why do they keep on sitting on all these millions this way? And then all of a sudden we're talking about new jails and stuff.
Or $500 million rivers.
Yeah,
it's almost like people, he doesn't see the need. But again, I can't accept the premise that he doesn't see it.
No, yeah, I can't accept that either. It's too easy to. I mean, it's too easy of a thought to, and it's getting presented to him all the time. The need. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking about that when you were reading. I was wondering if Miss Juanita Johnson, Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, put some respect on her name, is chiming up about that, is asking for those funds for her district. I'm wondering who's in there fighting for it. We're getting some names from the article, but is anybody from District 2 fighting for it? It's a question too.
That is a good question. Although this is on the state level, I don't know how much support that Councilwoman Juanita Johnson has given to Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne as they're asking for this $450 million, and you know how far she has gone to display the need in her district.
Well, I was talking not really about that 450 million ask, but the rental assistance funds we're talking about. You know, there are people paying rent in her district. So, you know, how many times, you know, what's
the most renters,
right? What the most renters in Nebraska? That's right, in District 2. So, so I want to know what's going on. You know, if there's anything happening behind the scenes, she's probably fighting behind the scenes. I give her the benefit of the doubt because you know she got elected in, and I've seen her, you know, definitely fight some things and decide she had to wait till she talked to her constituents about things in order to make some decisions and making some people mad in the process. So I see her back there fighting. Is she behind the scenes fighting for this? It'd be kind of good to find somebody on the inside that it wants to, that can speak to, you know, who's really fighting for these rental assistance funds. We'd like to know.
Man, again, we're just gonna have to reach back out to her. We did get word from her that she is willing to come on, so we'll have to reach out and set up something in regards to getting her on for an extended interview, because we have a laundry list of questions that we have in regards to development rental assistance, and I am curious because quite honestly, I haven't seen many reports. I mean, I see a quote here and there, and maybe in the Omaha World Herald article, but I haven't seen much communication about where she stands and what she's doing on a lot of these issues.
Yeah, and like I said, I ran into her when we went to the when Preston Love did the first tour out of the Fabric Lab there. And like I said, I think she's fighting, you know, but I'd like to cover that more. I'd like to
Right.
give her some more, you know, give her some more visibility on that, so everybody can know about what she's behind the scenes doing. So yeah, we'll definitely try to reach out to her as well. And while we're at it too, I don't know if Terry Sanders, TD Sanders, is on the call or is on the is watching today too. But I ran into her a week and a half ago, and we talked about having her on. I called her office, and I wasn't quite getting through, so I think I'm going to try to call her again. But she's been working on some things as well, and she's also in pretty good contact with Miss Juanita Johnson. Put some respect on her name, and we definitely need to get Miss Sanders in here to talk about some things as well, because she's right here in the you know, not just behind the Omaha Star, but right in the neighborhood, really trying to push and make some change happen as well, and has her finger on the pulse on that. So we'll definitely have to get a hold of her and bring her on. Brother Muhammad says the denial objective is to keep them begging, deny black, brown, elderly, poor, and children, etc. Yeah, I mean, you guys got a point about this. You know, he wants to be begged. You know, don't know how this stuff is being presented. I'd like to find out from our representatives how these things are being presented, and what that actually means for the push. I got a good morning from Black Dynamite. Hey, good morning, y'all. Appreciate you coming on through. You on Facebook now, huh? We was gonna send you over to Twitch because we had a troll that was on there. We need somebody to go battle the troll. So if
you clean them out.
That's right. Yeah. So check us out once again. You can check us out on Twitch. Like Buddy says, we be tweeting. What do you say? We tubing, tweeting, and twitching.
Yep, tweeting, twitting, tubing, however you want to put it. You name it.
There you go. And by the way, it's 8:08 right now. And is it 8:08 in Omaha? I'm all discombobulated now. So it's
yeah, it is. It's 9:08 where I'm at. So yeah, it's 8:08 in Omaha. So what time is it there?
6:08, bro.
Man,
we're 2 hours behind in Vegas. Yeah. So
thank you.
Like I said, I got a new respect for Pops getting up early with us and being the first chat timer on because it's really early for that. Wanda Lewis says, I'm late but present. What's happening, Miss Lewis?
Hey, better late than never.
Allie Peeler in the house. What's going on, Allie?
Hey.
This morning, friends. Appreciate
Top
you.
of the morning.
Yeah. Second hour right now. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Oh, there you go. Man, I keep on forgetting my cues, man. Be slipping down. But anyway, yeah, we're here, and that's what it is. We're here, and stay tuned. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And
yeah, man, I'm with it.
And like I said, we have Paul Feilman that's coming on through. So stay tuned. We got a special guest, a friend of First Sky Omaha that provides a lot of information to the Friends of First Sky Omaha page, and is very, very heavy in prison reform. And there's some things that we want to talk about. Some crazy stuff that Pete Ricketts just said. Buddy hit me too this morning before the show. Pete Ricketts talking some way out mess, and hopefully we'll get into that question as well. Before we go to the break, Miss Erica Fell says LB 121 is coming in front of the legislature. This will allow parents with drug trafficking convictions to finally receive SNAP food stamps to feed their children. Please contact your senator and let them know to vote for it. LB 121. Speaking of voting, I think it's getting ready to be time that we get to talking about everything that needs to happen here. People need to register, get your early vote ballots. There's this thing coming up, and they've been changing poll places around town as well.
Yeah, man.
Especially in the north. There's a lot. Pop says it would be crazy if Ricketts stopped talking crazy.
Wouldn't it be?
That's the truth. Ain't that the truth?
Man,
stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich, live from Pop's house in Vegas. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Hey,
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. You're in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. We're already 10 minutes in. This show is flying by as it usually does.
Yeah, man.
And, on top of all that, we got a special guest in the house that's coming on through. Finally got my man Paul Feilman on after all this time, after all these drops. How you doing, brother?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Actually, just to be candid, we kind of scheduled this in the wee hours of last night, man. So thanks for coming on such short notice. I know we've been talking about getting you on for quite some time, and you've been doing a great job at keeping us aware and on top of everything going on with the state's prison. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys keeping the issues out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we gotta, someone has to ring the bell. Someone has to speak up and drive the conversation. So that's what we're hoping to do. And glad that you're here to assist in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on right now, so it's a great time to get a chance to talk to folks.
It is.
I gotta ask you, man. I've been just really wanting to ask you this question. But you've had such comprehensive coverage of what's going on in Nebraska prisons. Just what is where does that come from for you personally? For you to have so much passion, you've been keeping really all of us aware of what's going on in the prison system single-handedly. Where is this coming from?
Well, Buddy and I met with Michelle. Oh, it's like 3 years ago. We were talking. I did a vigil down at the governor's mansion, but it all stems back from, I did mental health for 25 years. And then when I retired, I just knew there's a lot of things not healthy with our community, mostly violence. And I didn't really understand what that was about. So got to start doing some volunteer stuff with Pastor Cabot and some folks up at Mount View Elementary School. Shamari Huggins was there and some other folks. And as we worked with the little kids, the kindergarten, preschool kids, one of the teachers said that it was pretty common knowledge among the teachers about how many kids had family members that were incarcerated. And that was just mind-boggling to me. So I met with a friend, and I went to Lincoln and met with Inspector General and another priest that's done a lot of advocacy, and started learning about how overcrowded and how horrendous the prison system is and has been for a long time. And that's where it all started. It was kind of like, this is not acceptable. There was a lot of really strange things going on at the time. We're still one of the most overcrowded prison systems in the country. And then you had this horrific thing that basically it's against the UN rules about solitary confinement. And at that time, there were 300 people in solitary confinement. We're talking no human contact for basically 23 hours a day. And
Wow.
And it just never seemed to really be getting any better. And then it started turning to the point where you were going to have another riot, which, if you do your research, there was two major riots at Tecumseh, and there's been other riots where people were killed, and it was all due to conditions. If you look at, I think the Mother's Day riot had to do with conditions. If you go to the report, you'll see a picture taken from the guard tower of a resident holding a list of grievances up. And that was what was driving what happened. But it turned into a situation where people died. And it could have been much worse. And I saw that condition developing. And that's what I was getting in my information from the Inspector General of Corrections, Doug Kobernick. He was inside all the prisons and was telling me these things are really getting bad. And that's when I started my vigil at the governor's mansion. That was 2 years ago, and got a lot of good press coverage about that, and started raising the issue. And that's kind of where things started. And it's just been kind of a process of learning why the prisons are so overcrowded, what we can do to change that and get people out of prison. The number one thing you want to look at in the health of a community is, how many children live in poverty and how many people are incarcerated. And right now you got a very high percentage, a significant percentage of children living in poverty in Omaha that people just really don't know about. That's why I did my vigil down at City Hall and really tried to take data and put it in where people could see it. And the fuel for incarceration is poverty, and then you have all the racial segregation and racism history of Omaha that fuels the rest of that. But I'm real optimistic. I think there's a lot of really good things going on right now, primarily due to leadership in North Omaha, getting Terrell McKinney and Justin, working with Ernie Chambers and I worked together. I got to work with him quite a bit. When I was at the governor's mansion, when it got cold in November, I had to go inside, and I always stopped by his office and we would chat a little bit. And we worked on some things like trying to get staffing so they wouldn't have another riot at the prisons. But the North Omaha community, the media, there's just a number of people that are all starting to really work together to address poverty and economic opportunities, and really starting to assert the community's needs. So that's all leading right now to some really good things potentially, if it all kind of comes through. A lot depends on what Terrell McKinney's doing with this LB 1024, and that's what I'm really trying to push out there, is the community support for that. Chief Schmatter has really come out, and I'm going to give his testimony probably individually to each state senator, and because it's very powerful testimony about the impact that reducing poverty and creating job opportunities would do as far as making his officers' jobs safer and the community safer.
Wow.
But anyway, that's kind of my rundown on things.
Yeah. That's really interesting to hear. I didn't know that Schmatter had stepped up and talked about that. I'd like to hear that myself. So that's that's interesting. We go back and forth, man. We talk about some things that we're not happy with him on, and then there's other stuff where he's disciplining officers and they're they're overriding him and bringing those officers back after he fires them, and all kinds of stuff that's happened. Seems like he's in the fight as well. Can you speak a little bit to the chief? How do you feel like his doing his job here?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the Empowerment Network, I can't remember, they've got a link on 360 in the Empowerment Network's Facebook. You can actually see his testimony to the Urban Affairs Committee. There was 4 hours of testimony, and it's there. He really hit it out of the park. For a police chief to drive down there and give that testimony and support, and his famous quote from that was, he said, given the opportunity to have 1,000 more officers or 1,000 jobs strategically placed in the community where it's needed, he'd much rather have 1,000 jobs and to make things safer. And so, I mean,
remember that quote.
Yeah, and he's also I've been kind of nagging at him. I've gotten to know him over the last few years because I pushed for things like a mental health support. You know, that's.
We lost you on mute. You hit that mute button accidentally. Hey, Paul, can you hear us? He's what's going on with it too. Paul, can you hear us?
I don't think he can hear us.
We lost you there. Yeah,
he's going for it. We can't. Can you see us? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Hey, we lost you there. We can't hear you anymore yet. He's gonna try to restart up. Okay.
All right.
We'll see if we can get him in real quick again. Are you there? Can you hear us?
How about now?
Yeah,
yes. All right, there we go. Not sure what happened, but we're back.
Yeah. Thanks for bearing with us through the tech difficulties.
Hey, do you want me to try and rejoin?
No,
you're good. You're good
now. If you can hear us, we can hear you now.
How about now?
Yeah,
we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Now I can't hear you guys. Oh man, I tell you.
Okay, just
my alarm went off. That's what set it
off. Yeah, that'll do it.
Let me try and rejoin real quick, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
I'm going to shut off and rejoin.
All right.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, we still got a few things to talk to him about. So we go. It's just right because he's dropping gems, like Miss Erica Felt said. We definitely need to talk to him. And now I'm really anxious to get Todd Schmatter on the show too.
And I was going to mention as you're asking the question. I definitely get the sense that Chief Todd Schmatter, to a point, gets it.
To a point.
Has got me back.
You're back.
You can hear us.
Yeah, my alarm went off to remind me that I was going to talk to you guys.
yeah, it happens.
Apparently, the iPhone can't do. I do everything on my iPhone, and apparently it can't do two things at once. So
yeah.
But anyway, that's where I left off was Chief Schmatter. You know, his testimony. I read it to I went to the hearing on the Appropriations Committee. Mm-hmm. They were basically roasting the head of corrections about how it's going to end up. We're going to end up spending $1 billion over the next 20 years on prisons if we don't make some major reform changes. And I was able to testify. And I read Chief Schmatter's testimony to the Appropriations Committee, and he really talks about getting at the root issues. And he pounds on that in his testimony. It's very well stated. I can try and share that. I think I mentioned earlier, it's on the Empowerment Network actually has a video of his testimony to the Urban Affairs Committee. And I just transcribed it, and I'm going to hand deliver a copy of it to each senator. It's kind of an interesting way of doing things. I did this with solitary confinement. We got some bills passed. Tony Vargas and Justin got legislation, LB 739, to restrict the use of solitary confinement. Nice. But we just went and met. You stand outside the chamber door and you just fill out a form, and you can call any senator out of the chamber anytime. And they generally will respect that because we're the second house. So people are the second house. I really think that's a pretty amazing deal. But a friend and I handed out information about the severity of solitary confinement, and Tony and Justin really worked behind the scenes, and we got it past the governor and everything. I mean, it was pretty amazing. But that's what we need to do with LB 1024. And the idea that the prison situation's ever going to change is ridiculous if they don't make this major investment You guys have kind of put information out there about that study with providing resources to infants and their families, and the kind of change that occurs then. But, nobody in the community that's not impacted by poverty and the racism would ever, think that having infants and preschoolers living in severe poverty was a very smart idea if you want to keep people out of prison. But we do it constantly. And until that changes, the prisons are always going to be full.
Yeah. Speaking to that a little bit, Miss Erica Felt in the chat says, I have children who have incarcerated parents, have teachers speak about their incarcerated parent in front of the entire class. A teacher at Druid Hill told one of my children that he would grow up to be in prison like his father. Yes, I went up there, but the damage was done. Interesting how that trickled down to somebody on that level to be able to tell a kid that. I think it's a common knowledge and people kind of know that there's a preschool to prison pipeline going on, and how it's being dealt with. It's encouraging to hear that there's some developments, the way it's being addressed, especially like you're saying by the chief, and the work that you guys are doing. That is positive, and it's something that can kind of help in those directions, and even provide some language for teachers to not drop something on that like a kid. When you say that you went to the governor's place and you spoke about a couple places that you went in, what'd you do, like a sit-in or something like that, or what was it that you did there?
Yeah, there's a corner there. I know all the squirrels really well. I know where they live, and they come to visit each day. But yeah, there's a corner there on the it's the northwest corner of where the governor mansion is. I just went down there every day for 4 months and set up a sign that talked about a vigil to raise awareness of the emergency crisis situation in the prisons.
Wow.
And Paul Hamill, World Herald reporter's office, was right across the street. I got to see senators. And really, a lot of the people that came and talked to me were people that had been incarcerated, or family members. There was family members that worked inside the Capitol that would always stop by and talk with me. There's a guy, I always love this guy. He talked to me my second day. He just walks up to me, and he's looking kind of ominous, and he's just standing there. And he goes, "Prisons, huh?" And he looks at my sign. I said, "Yeah." And he was actually he was still on parole. 17 years he spent at the Nebraska State Penitentiary. Tried to escape once. Probably not too many people can say that. But you know what he was doing the day he talked to me? He was working as an electrician in the state capitol on the $8 million remodel and getting $30 an hour as a union guy. And he had learned his trade when he was inside the penitentiary on the maintenance crew.
Wow.
And do you think they cared about whether he had been incarcerated? No, because he was a darn good electrician. And I saw his truck there every day. The 4 months I was down there, he showed up. He'd always drive by and wave. And but anyway, I met a lot of senators there, a lot of media folks, and eventually I was able to get Preston and Jasmine Harris. They kind of worked with me, and we worked with the governor. Preston actually had the phone number for the governor, and they actually got a meeting set up with the governor to talk about the crisis. And actually, the results were that the director started coming up to North Omaha. Unfortunately, the exact day that he was supposed to come up the second time was the day that COVID started, and we shut the town down for the last next year and a half.
Right.
But right now, getting Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne into the legislature, working together with people like Willie Barney and all the Black Agenda Alliance, everybody's working on the same page right now. I feel like they're really starting to understand how to coordinate and the critical issues. This financial package that they're looking at to bring jobs and economic development into North Omaha, we're talking millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Yep. That's what LB 1024 is all about. And that's what I'm going to be really focusing on is supporting everybody and everybody to get information out there about how critical that is. Henry Cords, who wrote that article in the World Herald, he's my neighbor.
Okay. Oh man. Nice.
And that's where he got a lot of his contact information was from his friendly neighbor. And he and Paul Hamill Paul Hamill's he's written about solitary confinement. He's the Lincoln reporter. But yeah, I think that Henry Cordes did some deep dive research into some really bad disparity issues, and a lot of data in that report is really powerful. I sent it out to all the state senators right after it came out. But anyway, thanks for getting a chance to talk a little bit. I don't know if other things are going on.
Yeah. Actually, I had a few questions that I wanted to ask, because that I actually wanted to get to the video that you sent. That kind of brought us here to where we are right now. You kind of give a little background into your fight into the prisons, and I kind of wanted to talk about where we are right now, and kind of end with how the listeners, because that's a big part of what we try to do, is to mobilize the people and get some assistance in whatever it is that you're doing. So definitely want to point the listeners in a direction that can assist in this. But I wanted to ask about what's happening right now, where we are right now. You sort of mentioned about the fight that you had against solitary confinement, but we are still in an overcrowding emergency, topped with understaffing, severe understaffing, which is kind of resulting in forced solitary confinement, if you will. There has been forced weekend lockdowns and things like that as a result. So I kind of want you to speak to some of the recent changes that Governor Ricketts and Director Scott Frakes have announced as far as staffing, and also want to get into Governor Ricketts' comment about the race disproportionality.
Yeah, actually we were really this is something that Ernie Chambers had battled for, and I had talked, and Steve Lathrop, the head of Judiciary, and several other people had really battled for to prevent a riot. Was you can't run a prison with nobody there. And literally there were times where you didn't have staff. And they just announced through negotiations an enormous pay raise. And I would say that we have the potential now to put staff in the facilities that can make a career out of being people that really want to help people change their lives. We don't need prisons, but if we have prisons, while we have them, we need to have people in there that can make a difference. And if there's people in in the community that would be interested in a career that pays, $50,000 plus a year with benefits that would allow them to really be a positive part of restorative justice, have them reach out, because they're really hiring people and making a major impact now in terms of reducing the staffing problems. Once the staffing problems are under control, and it looks like that's going to happen in the next few months, then you're going to have facilities back to normal functioning. Right now, 2 facilities have guys locked down 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day, all night. And then the other facilities are on 12-hour lockdown 7 days a week. But that should change soon. But what people in the community can do is really support everything that, keep in touch with what Terrell and Justin are working on with other community leaders, and do whatever it takes to support that effort. If it means going down to Lincoln for a hearing, LB 1024, if that does not go through and go through with big numbers, I just think that the community's willingness to make the changes to support economic development in poverty communities, North and South Omaha, is just not going to be adequate. So that's a game changer. That's kind of the big thing. And the major, I think it's Tila Mickles is having a big thing at Compassion in Action on Saturday morning to talk about what they call a Christmas tree bill, where they've hung all the reform legislation on one bill. That has to pass also. So people can go to Compassion Action office at Tila Mickles' place on Saturday morning at 10. They're having burgers and discussing it. That'd be a great time to meet people that are trying to make this change, getting reform, economic development, and quality staff, so you can actually use your facilities appropriately and not spending all the money on a new prison.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely put some of if you have any information on those that event, put it in the Friends of First Sky Omaha page, like I know that you do for us all the time. So we appreciate that. We'll try to get that word out. Yeah. Just to jump into the chat just a little bit. Speaking on what you just spoke last, Von Chapman says if Ricketts never addressed the disparity, and the disproportionality in the black community, he can justify building more prisons. That really is interesting, especially when we're thinking about the clip that you sent us.
Yeah.
About what Pete Ricketts said about the disparity, and how, I always pay really close attention to what he chimes up about when he's talking. I really want to hear what's behind what it is that he's talking about, and this was a very interesting clip. And as a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'm gonna try to play it real quick. I'm hoping that everybody can hear it, and then maybe we can have a little discussion on that, if you don't mind. And by the way, if you're just joining us, it's 8:34 right now. If you believe in the concept of time and you're keeping track of it, we're talking to Paul Feilman, who is a friend of First Sky Omaha, and is pretty much single-handedly keeping us up to date on what's going on in the prison system and fighting at the same time. So if you have any questions for him, go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll get to them as soon as we get to this next subject here real quick. And let me see, I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. Let me know right away if you guys can hear this. Okay. Are you guys hearing anything quite yet?
So the question was about over-incarcerating African Americans vis-a-vis the story. One of the things I was interested to finding out more in the World Herald article, which was not really explored very much, which is, who are the victims? So who are the victims of these crimes? And I think that would also help shed some light on the overall what the incarceration rate in Nebraska is. So I think that needs to be fully vetted out before you can start answering the questions you asked there, Paul. I would point out that some of the things that we are doing here at the state are, we've been working to engage community leaders. For example, in North Omaha, we've got our Economic Inclusion Summit, working on how we can create more job opportunities. The state of Nebraska has opened up our office there for both the Department of Health and Human Services as well as Department.
Okay, so now he's going on about everything that he's doing. But the first part of that comment really struck us.
Yeah.
The question that was asked, what was it? Let me.
I mean, the question was in reference to the Omaha World Herald article that again we just found that Paul Feilman's neighbor wrote, and again we actually talked to Matt Wynn of Flatwater Free Press about the same article on Monday, and basically that journalist was asking Governor Ricketts about his thoughts on that report.
The way that it's being interpreted around here, we're listening to it, and it sounded like he's trying to act like, why is there disproportionately more black people in prison? Well, look at the black on black crime. Look at how they're killing each other. That's basically what he was saying, as far as I'm hearing. What was your take on that, Mr. Feilman?
Yeah, it's the governor. Having sat on the governor's mansion lawn for 4 months, he's got a very interesting way of looking at things, he was defensive, but it's one of those things where I just have to work around it. It was kind of a response that probably doesn't surprise me very much. Unfortunately, we have to work around that kind of. It tends to be racist a little bit in terms of how he deals with things. But I mean, the black community knows who gets, that there are victims of, I'm in Des Moines right now. Actually, I've been spending a lot of time over here. My dad's 96, and I've been kind of helping him out during the week, but I've been following what's happened over here, where you had, there's 6 teenagers now probably looking at, close to life sentences after that shooting at East High School.
Yeah.
And now who do you think the victims are? I mean, you got the victim that died, and then you got 6 families that are going to have an incarcerated family member for the rest of their lives. And
yep.
I mean, the whole community suffers. And I just think that that comment, the governor was just a little defensive about it. Interestingly enough, I've talked to Director Frakes about these issues, and he's much more open to the issues of the racial disparities and so forth, and understands more of the racism. He's actually read the new Jim Crow. He sent me an email one time and said, I've read this stuff, and he gets some of that stuff. In fact, I gave him that day that he testified to the Appropriations Committee. I followed him down the hall, and he knows me. We've talked about some of the legislation and stuff, and I gave him a copy of Chief Schmatter's testimony about addressing root causes. I said, please look at this, because if you can support this and tell the governor that we've got to support LB 1024, we can actually make a difference. So, I try not to get caught up in the politics with Governor Ricketts. It's kind of a pointless venture. You just follow the path of least resistance to get where we need to get. And right now, 1024 is being handed out to us as a possible way to get companies to relocate in North Omaha. That's what Justin and Terrell have really, I just can't believe how much work they put into this with other community leaders. It's pretty darn exciting to watch. That's what's going to be the game changer.
We call them the dynamic duo around here. They really got in there and started turning the tables over.
Yeah, well, and I think that if they work with Tony Goines, like the governor mentioned, Tony Goines, he's doing economic development. They can all work together, and the governor is just going to say what the governor says, and we'll just try and work around what's going on with him and his situation. But
I think that's a good perspective on it. Like Brother Von Chapman says, the definition of a racist is one who has the power to change the destiny of an individual or individuals to the detriment of those individuals. Defines Pete Ricketts. He is the quintessential definition of a Nebraska racist Proud Boy. Enough said. I just say that to say Pete Ricketts is Pete Ricketts. He's going to be who he is. He's going to say things like marijuana kills the kids. He's just going to say these types of things. And I do think that although we get a kick out of it and it has its somewhat entertainment value, to Paul's point, we do have to get what we have to get done, even with that governor, until we can get Carol Blood in office. But until then, we just got to keep moving forward.
And I would like to say one other thing is that meeting that Preston has. He's got a town hall coming up, I think, next week with Chief Schmatter and Wayne Hudson. And that's where anybody in the community can come out and start talking to him. And Preston's going to moderate the whole thing. And Chief Schmatter's willing to do it now. And it gives Wayne Hudson a chance to really talk about it from the Black person's perspective in the community and a law enforcement officer. But it also gives Chief Schmatter a chance to start really addressing real issues. I mean, I want to ask him about Micah Taylor, and I want to ask him about Kevin Jones and how they handle arrests that are going to result in more people getting killed. Micah Taylor's, I don't know if people know Micah Taylor's case, but just Google it. He's in the state penitentiary. He has a bullet in the back of his neck. And you know what he was pulled over for? He was pulled over in a part of a sting operation, and he had some pot in his car. And when it's a kind of a really weird situation, and they didn't handle they tried to drag him out of the car, a single officer, and it's all on video. I've seen all the evidence. You can see it on YouTube. But at some point, I'm going to start asking some of those kinds of questions, because the officer could have been killed. Micah Taylor should have been killed. The bullet didn't actually enter his brain. It actually lodged in the back of his neck. But he's serving 50 years now. Wow. And, that's going to happen again. So those are the things that if the community can come to that meeting and really start opening some dialogue, I think we can change the way that police, they're going to bring the state patrol in too, because the state patrol's been doing some pretty significant interventions in the community. And I think the community really needs to ask questions about how that's being handled, what their thoughts about it are, so that procedures can be changed to really address what the true needs of North and South Omaha are.
Right on.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Got about a couple minutes left here. I just want to kind of jump in the chat real quick before we let you go. Miss Erica Felt says, Paul Feilman, thank you so much for all you do. Ariel's 402 says, no laws have ever stopped anybody from doing anything. Education has. We got a good morning from Amy Hutflis. Good morning, fam. Miss Erica Felt says, that's rehabilitation instead of just penalizing. We need more trade schools available to 13 to 26-year-olds. You already read Von Chapman's point there. Ariel's 402 says, people are leaving Nebraska because of the culture, not because of the lack of attractions. Ms. Erica Fell says, I'm curious if there's been a study showing a percentage of victims that become or are criminals. I've looked but can't find it. I think there needs to be a better victim support as well to prevent recidivism or initial crimes. Maybe you can speak to that. That's kind of a great point to jump on there.
Yeah, I'm a licensed mental health therapist. I'm retired, but yeah, the whole issue of trauma and they call it adverse childhood experiences. It's actually trauma experiences in childhood, and poverty by itself is the major fueler of probably 80% of the traumas that people experience that lead down the road to severe mental illness and drug addiction and incarceration. So getting more resources, that's what I just posted something on my Facebook today about a long-term, she's a friend of mine, she's volunteered in the prisons for 30 years, and she talks about how you can spend the money on mental health and education and all the other things you could spend it on besides building a new shiny prison. Yeah, so the mental health piece of it is like funding for mental health services that really are tailored to the community needs is a critical factor. That and substance abuse.
Wow. Yeah, man. Totally agree. Yeah. Thank you very much for definitely everything you do. Do you have help? Do you have people that are rolling with you?
Yeah, I got 1,000 people just like you guys.
Nice.
And
beautiful.
Yeah, and people that'll put up with me. And I'm independent, which gives me a lot of latitude. I do do some things. I screw up periodically. I know you guys are probably aware of when I screwed up recently and said the N word on a show, and I've been trying to make amends for that.
No,
really,
we missed that. We missed that one. What's happening, man?
Yeah. I was discussing the Julius Jones case down in. It was on William King's show.
Oh, okay.
And I was discussing going down to Oklahoma, part of an effort to get Julius Jones off death row, which eventually ended up happening. But I was making reference to some real racial things that were said by a juror down there. And one of the things that juror talked about was that he should just be taken out back of the courthouse and buried because he's a N-word. And I actually said the N-word, which was a big, I've been trying to make up for it ever since, in terms of with the kind of damage, you make missteps like that, it's pretty hard to come back from. But I'm working on it.
But you're quoting someone else.
Yeah, but it was still, you just don't say it.
True. But like you said, you've been putting in the work too, man. People can make mistakes. It's all,
it still comes down to the only person that can fire me is my wife.
It's a nice place to be.
Yeah, but like I said, all the community, I get tons of support, and I just basically collaborate with everybody in the community, and when I do vigils, I get tons of, this just in the signatures I got on the vigil down at City Hall. I had hundreds of people's signatures on there.
Nice.
People that would stop and talk to me, especially people that were affected by poverty. They would always stop and sign and talk to me. And then I take their names and their information. And I'm going Sunday morning. I've been going to the state penitentiary. There's a group of guys in there that give me my biggest support. It's a support group that's run by the guys inside. They are still, the one I go to is called 7 Step. Basically, it's a self-responsibility group. The old timers trying to help the young guys. Okay. I'm going down there. Their next meeting is Sunday morning early. I have to be down to Lincoln at 7:30. But I tell those guys what kind of work we're doing on the outside to help them. So that's a big crew of folks and then other people. Yeah, there's just the list of people that are involved in this process is immense. But it only matters if we make the change. So, and that's why getting Henry Cords to write that article was so critical, because then the rest of the community, gets to know what's really going on and what the real issues are. And he did an amazing job of doing some research, and now it's just a matter of following up on all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that out in the Friends of First Sky Omaha, that article, so we can all kind of dig into it again. And also just want to put out there, do you have people follow you on Twitter, or what's the place that you want to be followed?
Mostly I do all my work on mostly Facebook. I'm on Twitter a little bit. Mostly I follow people there to get my information. And yeah, you can follow me there, but mostly all my stuff is on Facebook. I mean, as you know, I post on several groups. In fact, I just connected with an organization over in Iowa now called Black News, because they've seen some of the stuff that I posted with you guys, and we're kind of synchronizing some of the work, because they've got this situation over here with these 6 teenagers who killed this kid, and that's such a horrible. And they're like, over here in Iowa, I think I published the article or sent the article out. It talks about the conditions for Black community members is, I think, 4th worst in the country in the state of Iowa. Nebraska's a booming number 7 worst. Yeah, that's where this economic development stuff is coming up.
Yeah. Give us again what the bill is that we need to be looking out for.
LB 1024, the North Omaha Recovery Act. And coordinate that. Get Terrell on as much as you can to talk about it. They've got a whole plan. And people don't share everything with me, but Terrell tolerates me pretty well. I asked him a few days ago when they were going to bring that to the floor, because that's when you got to coordinate. Usually you coordinate some advocacy stuff where people go down or make phone calls. But it's a critical bill that if we don't get that passed, I think they're asking for $400 million. If we can get at least 200 or 300 million, it's all in a very well-developed plan to make North Omaha independent economically, to where they can take care of all their needs. And just like pre-Tulsa riot stuff, where the community was doing great until white people decided to firebomb the place.
Right. Like Wall Street.
Yeah.
We definitely, we over here at First Sky Omaha have been in cahoots with those guys and been helping to try to help with coming up with that plan for that $450 million. So we're definitely well aware of that one in this bill, and we're in everything that we need to do to push this bill, bring these guys on and talk about it again. Really appreciate you reminding us about all that as well. We're definitely going to let you get out of here. We're running a little bit over time. I'm going to read off a couple things in the chat. And while I'm doing that, I want you to think about this question real quick. Where are the best wings at in town? Now, while you think about that, I just want to say Rome's Review says many blessings to you, Mr. Feilman. Leah Keister says, thank you so much for your voice and activism. Let's see. Richard Lewis went ahead and put your Facebook page in the chat there. Miss Erica Fell says, you're a mention, a blessing. Thank you for sharing what you do, so we can learn what's going on and how to put in work.
Yeah, man.
And that's what we're all about here for sure. Vaughn Chapman says, recidivism is a direct result of purpose-driven neglect by those more interested in prison funding and not prison or juvenile reform. So true. And Brother Rich went ahead and put LB 1024 in the chat. It's a bill you can study and look at and all that. Before we get out of here, where's the best wings in town, brother?
I never get to go out and eat wings, so I can't really say. But I do want to say Paul Hamill from the World Herald, the reporter there, he and I are in complete agreement that the biggest problem with the world is there are not enough Pauls.
I think I can be in agreement with that one. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, more Pauls.
But hey, thanks a lot for what you guys do. I can't watch all the time, but when I can, I try and listen in what you guys have got going, and plenty of other things going on, and I really enjoy the opportunity to talk with you guys as things progress. Things are really coming to there could be some really major changes going on despite all the racial issues and so forth. Economic independence for North Omaha and South Omaha will bring billions of dollars to the community, and if we get the senators to understand that, then everybody wins.
Yep.
Love it.
As Michelle said on Wednesday, rising tides raise all boats.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Paul Feilman leaving us with some hope. Appreciate you coming through, and we'll definitely keep on following what you're doing, and we'll have you back soon.
Yes.
Thanks,
more
guys.
Power to you. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Peace. That's what's
there
up.
You go. There you go.
A little hope. That's what I'm talking about.
Man, I know. I definitely like his perspective on this, because we always talk about the doom and gloom and just the just the doom of having a governor like Pete Ricketts and just the challenge, the uphill battle it is to get any real change and anything of substance done in this state with a governor like Ricketts. But as Paul just mentioned, again, even in the face of that, victories can be achieved and things can be done. So I appreciate that hopeful perspective. And yeah, I mean, this can really change the game, man. LB 1024, we got to support it. We've had, again, both Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne put some respect on their names here, and we'll definitely have to bring them back to get an update on what that situation, where it stands and what we can do, who we have to apply pressure on to get that ball rolling.
There you go. Remember, if you're not a friend of First Sky Omaha, if you're not in the group on Facebook, go ahead and join that. Paul Feilman drops gems all the time in there for us, and then we get a lot of news, especially what's going on with prison reform and economics from him. I learned about that situation over in Iowa from his post as well. I didn't see that anywhere else, but on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So that's what's up. Miss Erica Felt says, thank you for having him on. I've been curious about him and things I've seen online. Good people. Yeah, me too. Me too. People have gravitated to what it is that we're doing over here. We didn't know him from before. He came on because he saw, we're of like mind and trying to make some change here, and he's come in. So he's made me really kind of wonder about him. So I'm glad this should be not just the first, the last time we talked to him. So
no, it won't.
And yeah, get to know him. He's definitely a friend of First Sky Omaha. That's what it's all about. Pop says, great interview. Yeah. I appreciate. I agree. I think that it was really good to have him on. So appreciate you guys making that happen there.
Yeah, hopefully y'all learn some things from it. I will say I definitely, learn some things and have some new perspective on some things. So definitely appreciate Brother Paul Feilman for coming on. And also I didn't really get a chance to get into it because I think there's still a whole bunch of questions that we did not get to ask.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we want to get into with them. But I will mention that he did bring up, I don't know if you remember, we were doing the prison radio before during the Mine and Soul days. He was saying that there are some instances and organizations doing something similar here in Nebraska, where prisoners are getting the opportunity to create podcasts and get a microphone in front of their faces. So I want to kind of bring to the people, the chat chimers, is that something that y'all be interested in seeing? Is us, working on getting some content from prisoners? Would that be something you'll be interested in seeing, and maybe on First Sky Radio or maybe some other areas where we can put First Sky content, because we're definitely always looking on ways to expand and have voices be heard and letting your mind be free. That's what it's all about, man. Continue the conversation.
Prison Radio over on Mind and Soul, when we were doing it, we had Bamia Abdul Jamal, who was the spokesperson, and we got word from him every week, and that was very powerful. I did not know they had something like that for Nebraska prisons. I would love to dig in and get both of those shows back on First Sky Omaha Radio for sure. So yeah, Wanda Lewis says absolutely. Yeah, let's look
there you
into
go.
it. Let's look
there
into
you go.
it.
Yeah, so big shout out to Brother Paul Feilman. He's on top of all that stuff.
For real. 8:56. We only got about 4 minutes left in the show. Time for the hats, y'all. What's happening? What's going down? It is the weekend. It's time for us to talk about the haps. That's the things that we think you need to be checking out. It could be anything fun. It could be something very necessary. And it's also time for you to let us know what it is that we need to be bigging up on the show and putting on Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page, and letting people know what's happening. So give us your haps in the meantime, buddy. You got some haps for the people?
Yeah, man. Well, as we again wrapping up our conversation on prisons, today is March 11th, 2022, and Ernest Jackson is still not free.
Free.
Reminding the people that again on March 26th will be the Freedom for Ernest March. Not necessarily a march, but more of a walk. Again, there will be a walk starting at Orchard Park. I believe that's on 50. I want to say like 57th and Hartman, and going to 72nd Street.
Okay.
And there will be some events sort of at the tail end of that walk. So again, this is all in the attempt to raise awareness and bring freedom for Brother Ernest Jackson, who has been serving time unjustly for decades now. So again, look out for that. I believe Paul, you're gonna be in attendance at that one. I won't be able to be there,
man. We got to try to make that one for sure. So
so First Sky Omaha will be representing.
The family reached out to us personally and wanted us to make sure that we were there. So we're definitely going to do that.
There you go. So again, March 26th is that. I believe that those events start at 11. So definitely check that out. Other than that, I do want to also reiterate this call to action from Kamisha Hollis's family, the sister of Kamisha Hollis, again asking for assistance in that tragic case. Talking about the death of Queen Kamisha Hollis, and the family is asking those of you who want to assist in that, to write a letter to Judge Horatio Wheelock, sharing why a manslaughter charge is not enough, as well as the unfairness in how he was able to make a plea deal without disclosing where Kamisha is, where her body is. So again, this is going back to the plea deal that was given to that man. Not even going to use his name, but again, if you would like to help get full justice and some semblance of closure for the family, definitely write a letter to Judge Horatio Wheelock. There is information if you're interested in doing that.
Right on. It's coming up on this 9 o'clock hour. We're going to let it go, but go to Friends of First Sky Omaha. There's a lot of HAPs that are going on there. The quarterly diversity and inclusion joint meeting is happening Wednesday, March 16th. Shout out to Brother Valentine for putting that in as well. Leah Keister put some stuff in as far as Swing Left Nebraska is concerned. Letter writing on the 13th. Canvases to meeting on the 24th. Canvases on the 26th. We can win together. There's a lot. There's some stuff that Miss Erica Felt dropped in about Omaha police traffic stops that's very interesting. You need to be definitely checking out.
Yeah.
There's
poll locations.
The poll locations, man. That's most definitely something that we need to look up. So definitely check that out. Paul Feilman also put something in about Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 to 21. So there's some programs in there that was some jobs. Brother Valentine, understanding racism through data. This is something that I'm definitely interested in. I'd like to go check out. That's Thursday, March the 24th, 7 to 8. Check that out by Movement in Omaha for Racial Equity, the MORE movement. Definitely check them out. Understanding racism through data. Data can really tell the story. So there's a lot there. And as a matter of fact, it looks like it's getting to be so much here that what we need to do is go ahead and see if we can reach out and get some help to put things in a First Sky Omaha calendar so that it'll be easy, something easy you can go to and check out what's going on and even enter stuff that you think that we need to be checking out ourselves. We need a HAPS calendar. We just need to go ahead and try to get the help, put that together. So
yeah, man,
we'll be working on that because, man, it gets to this every time at the end of the show. We just, we run out of time because there's so many things that you think we need to check out. And we have found some stuff too. And we're about action around here. So we got to try to get organized there. So let's do that. If you are down to reach out and help with some of that, let us know. Hit us up on the DMs and help us put together a First Sky Omaha HAPS calendar so we can get all these things going on. Brianna Full says St. Patty's Day Parade is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. downtown Omaha. Y'all have fun with that. I'm not a big
there you go.
St. Patty's Day Parade cat, but y'all have fun.
Also, Omaha Film Festival kicks off this weekend on the 13th.
The partners. Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
Big shout, also friends First Sky. So big shout out to the Omaha Film Festival, both virtual and in-person events. So go ahead and check out thereader.com for more information on that.
There you go. You got some words for the people?
I mean, as always, big shout out to everyone. It's a love affair, man. As I said earlier, man, my spirits are always picked up having this conversation and just addressing the issues, the ills of society with all of you and having a collective conversation and trying to figure out solutions. I mean, that's what it's all about. As I walk through my daily life, that's what's rattling through my brain is how do we solve these issues, man? So I appreciate y'all for joining me in that conversation and us trying to reach those things together because teamwork makes the dream work, man. As I like to say, as always, conversation rules the nation. Big shout out to brother Paul Feilman for having a conversation with us and joining us in conversation today. And as always, please support LB 1024. We got to get this ball moving, got to get some momentum behind this and some assistance to the dynamic duo, brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. So until next time, catch us same place, same time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, big shout out to Pops over there for allowing you to broadcast from the place. So hopefully y'all have a good time this weekend out there in Vegas. And with that, Paul B. Take it away.
Mr. Erica Fell says, I didn't have to wake up until 8, but y'all have the must-hear shows that I didn't want to miss. Thank you. Drink water, keep your space, and be good to yourselves this weekend, everyone. Appreciate you. Tamika Johnson gives us love, peace, and sunshine. Appreciate that. Pop says, I want to thank my First Sky fam for all the love today. You really touched my heart. Much love. I adore you all. Appreciate that. Leah Keister says, enjoy the great weather in Vegas this weekend. Catch you both on the other side of the weekend. Great shows this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brother Elmar Valentine says, I got the HAPS calendar assistance funding for you. Man, Brother Valentine.
Always on it. Always.
We got the funny. We need the bodies. That's what's going on. Leah Keister says I can help put the calendar together. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'm sorry, really quickly, brother Inomar Valentine, I need your email. Leah Cates of the Reader is trying to holler at you about some WIOA stuff and trying to get some more coverage and information. And yeah, I need your email.
Very sweet. Bon Chapman says never enough time and never enough money. Live long and prosper. Yeah, live long and prosper. Never enough time, never enough money. I heard that.
There you go.
That's what's going on. Miss Erica Felt says, pay me, I'm on it. You got some time, Miss Erica Felt? We'll talk to you about it. And Josh Chase says, enjoy your weekend, everyone. You deserve it. Appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for everything. Again, we're going to get out of here because we're running really, really late. There's the possibility there might not be a show on Monday. It really depends on what's going on Sunday night for me. I'm out here for a wedding. The wedding's happening Sunday. I'm supposed to be there and help, and so on and so forth. So we will see. You might get a message very late Sunday night saying can't make it Monday morning, but I'm gonna try. So if not, then I'll see you Wednesday when I get back in town. Thanks again to everyone. Want to give a shout out to Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Shout out to you, all the chat chimers who, with this conversation and this thing would not be happening without you. Really, really appreciate that. Shout out to you, everyone who's a reoccurring member of the station as well. If you have not become a supporter of this channel, then please consider doing so. Go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and become a reoccurring member of this so we can keep the conversation reoccurring as well. Thank you guys very much for everybody's help, for everybody's participation. And you guys be good to each other as well and stay good and have a great weekend and all that good stuff. I don't know what the weather's like in Omaha, and I don't even want to know. So y'all deal with that this time around. I'm gonna enjoy what's going on here for a few days and come back and then complain with y'all. So that's how it works.
Live it up, Paul.
I will try to. Have a good weekend, y'all. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means necessary.
Hey, we're still on the air. One quick thing I forgot to say. Shout out to Pops for letting me broadcast live in his spot out here in Vegas and for coming on and saying hi so that Star Trek Rich didn't start moving no furniture around. Appreciate you. Appreciate all y'all. Peace, peace, peace.
Also, we see you, Leia. Looking out for your email.
Hey, there you go.